How did you become engulfed with that passion? Where was that birthed? How did that happen?
Well, first it was in my own life, and I'll be honest with you, I've been in places where I knew that I needed to really see God for whatever the next step would be. I think that for every true believer, if you're born again, there will always be at least one, maybe several, but at least one very defining moment in our lives where we really have to come face to face with the God we say we know. And it can't really live on your mother, your father, your uncle, or just a church tradition faith. You have to experience him for yourself. And so in my own life, I was first time was after graduating from college. You know, I wanted to go further, had no money saved, didn't come from a wealthy family, but I knew God was really pulling me to move away. Had never lived outside of Houston before and outside of Texas, but it was a faith step, and it was a place that I had to go to seek God, to grow up in my own spirituality, but then also see him demonstrate and manifest his love and his grace and his provision in ways that I would not have experienced had I not really just taken this to the next level.
And so God began to birth this
Absolutely,
in you?
absolutely, because it's a way of life. I mean, I definitely don't believe that we are here to be Christians and just fill pews. We are called to be his ambassadors for the kingdom. We are called to live a life that he can literally fill us with his Holy Spirit and then show the world what it's like to be in relationship with a true living God, one who is real. And so that was my first experience. The next was just in the last year and a half of my life. I have actually had to live this over again. But I was on staff at a church where my responsibility was to teach Bible study, the midweek service in the summer. And I saw in the congregation, and even the leaders had talked about it from time to time, just a real comfortable, kind of passive, you know, we're going through the routines and everything is fine. And in my time of preparation and praying about what God would have me to teach, that word intensified really came alive. It was like yelling out at me. And that's how really the study developed from there. We created a study guide in the church office with a copy machine. And really it was about helping those who were serious and really committed to that study take something home with them. Instead of passively listening, saying amen, maybe falling asleep, or just kind of listening and maybe get the CD later, but really go home and spend time in the Word for yourself. Spend time hearing the voice of God and allowing the Holy Spirit to move through your heart and give you revelation for where he wants you to be in your life. And after hearing so many wonderful testimonies from a cross-section of the congregation, I just kind of prayed and said, Lord, where do you want me to go with this? Is it something someone else might be blessed with? And we're almost 3 years later with a book that prayerfully I believe will be a blessing.
Well, this book, The Intensified Life, it's a Bible study.
Yes.
And yet it's a lot more than that.